Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
How the universe is way bigger than you think.
This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night
sometimes I
skies,
think
but
like we're just all ants. Like we're somebody's ants.
We are ants all right in this, the
Mhm.
size of the universe. We're not even ants. We're like,
I don't even want to be smushed.
we're not.
Like
We're
imagine someone
nothing.
just sit on us.
No,
That's a wrap.
we're like a grain of dirt. That is that.
in reality, the Moon isn't this close to our planet. It's actually about this far away, 384,400 kilometers away from you right now on average. You could fit 30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able to drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite this incredible distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing the furthest away that any individual human has ever been away from the Earth, and one of
They said
humanity's
this is
greatest
not real.
achievements. This is what the
They
Earth
say
would look
Earth
like
is
from
flat
there if
too.
you were standing there with them, and if you
It's funnily enough the same people that say that.
Really?
Yeah.
wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would
I know some people they just wanna be like
Contrarian?
yes, contrarians. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, this is what they
I
say
feel
with
like you do that
everything.
to me.
Well, no, I play devil's advocate. I
That's
don't.
same thing to me.
No.
Contrarian. What's contrarian versus
But the difference is
devil?
like, okay, devil's advocate. When you play devil's advocate in science, you can disprove it. So like you can play devil, and you should play devil's advocate with science, but there's proof. So, the devil gets advocated. I don't know, but yeah, but like other stuff, it's just to kind of expand the perspective.
take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at. This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is Earth as seen from the Martian surface.
I do not see no tiny dot. Oh wait, do I? Oh, maybe I do. Oh my, yeah, I do, but it's very tiny.
On the red
Yeah,
circle?
in the middle of the red, there is like a tiny dot. Yeah, I barely see it. Wow.
I see it.
On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers. That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than the astronauts who landed on the Moon were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would render instant communication in the event of an emergency impossible. When we zoom out even further away, we can find the Voyager.
I mean, okay, so let's say we do communicate instantly in an emergency for the sake of the argument. Again, devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
What the people on Earth gonna do? It's like, oh no, emergency, people on Earth.
No, at
Oh,
least
let me go.
no, at least they can say the last accounts so they can be aware, okay, these people didn't just fall off.
Okay,
Something
so
happened.
they can still do it, just add 20 minutes to it. Okay, so they died 20 minutes ago, not now.
Wow.
Okay. Like, well, who cares? Like, what you gonna do here sitting on Earth if somebody on Mars is facing aliens or whatever the fuck they're facing? Like, come on.
Do you think if it's the person, it would be 4D person?
What?
Like, someone in the 4D.
What about
They
4D?
can see your old you, your current you, and your future you in 4D.
Okay, in Mars?
If they
Where
were.
there's aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
But I don't know
know.
what
It's-
kind of aliens. There's
I don't know. Aliens
in 3D
is the
or
tough.
4D.
With the, anything is possible. I don't
Mhm.
know. This is something we don't understand as humans.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of time, just I don't know. We don't have these answers.
Voyager 1 space probe, which is the furthest away man-made object from Earth. It is currently located 138 AUs from the Earth, AU meaning astronomical unit, which is the distance between the Earth and the Sun, which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is. At some
But do
point
you
on its
think
long
something
voyage,
know that we exist and not engage with us, or we're like in a competition between who can engage with who first?
So, but with the technology we have,
Yeah.
if we are assuming they have the same technology, they don't know we exist. However, if they're
They probably think about us.
well, yeah.
Like we
If
think about them.
if if their technology is more advanced than ours, then it is possible.
Mm.
We can't reject that possibility that they're more advanced than us. You know, we as a
Mm.
society we haven't really lived that long, so
Because there's some things here that we cannot explain, like some markings on the land in different countries.
yeah, ancient aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
But
that's conspiracy theories, though. You know,
yeah.
let's not go into that. But guys, you can watch Ancient Aliens if you want to.
Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph. It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history.
But then again,
This
I
tiny
think maybe the people back then could be smarter than the people who are here now. Because we were very reliant on like these technologies, and then they kind of had to figure out those technologies.
I do like
But the
some of
father is smarter than the son.
I do like some of the episodes and their explanations.
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about my own stuff.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ancient Aliens.
No.
What's your own stuff?
My own stuff is that, do you think the people then are like they use more of their brain than we have to now, because we are very reliant on a lot of stuff.
No, okay, so nowadays, sure, but take it back 40 years ago, we didn't have the stuff. We had to use our brain. The stuff came in like the last 40 years, all the computers and everything basically came. So we still like our generation, we grew up using our brain. Kids nowadays, the Gen Z, I don't know if they have the brain to use. I don't know. They're in trouble. No, and then I'm not like shading them. It's they don't have to learn stuff because you can just go and Google. We had to learn stuff, right? For them, what's the point of really learning it? Like if you just can just have it. And I'm not also saying that they should learn. Why learn if you can go Google it?
Because it seems like, there were some accountings of a visitation back then.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So maybe they're just not interested in seeing us now.
Maybe.
pale blue
Or maybe they're walking between us, and maybe you're an alien, maybe I'm an alien. You don't know. You don't know.
dot is Earth, and I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30,000 years. Once we go beyond the solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift to the light-year unit of measurement, which is the distance.
This is exactly the reason why I just think we can't deny the existence of aliens. Like,
Why?
deny absolutely. Like,
Why?
look how tiny we are
Okay.
compared to say we're the only ones in all of this. I can't believe that. Like, we can't deny that. There's nobody will ever know in our lifetime for sure. Well, unless somebody shows up, right? But like, it's just look how vast it is.
They're still traveling, and it seems like we're still traveling too. In the Voyager.
Everybody's traveling.
Yeah.
Distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers. The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our sun, but it's still 4.24 light years away from us. To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour like in our previous example to the moon, it would take over 6 times longer than the entire age of the universe is just to finally get get
some
there, and
time.
it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here. This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any possible aliens who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity's presence. It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000.
That's my point. You saw how tiny our radio signal is.
There's someone just living in another planet. That's so cool.
Like, we.
That's so cool.
This is so fascinating. Oh, I love to go to space, to another planet, to be there,
To do what?
explore,
And do what?
just explore, see.
There's plenty to explore here.
You're right, there is, but would just be very cool.
1,000 light years from end to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion planets inside of our galaxy. But you have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here. But even this massive galaxy is nothing compared to the rest of what's out there. Zooming out even further and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 54 different galaxies that is about 10 million light years across. But zooming out even further and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group here is just a tiny segment of. There are at least 100 other groups of galaxies just like our own local group inside of here, and the distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million
I wonder
light
if I
years.
picked the right planet.
So my thing is, how do we know all this?
That's what I'm wondering too. This is suspicious.
Like, if we haven't really traveled that far away from our planet, how? I mean, I guess you can see the telescopes a little bit, but you cannot see like all. How do you? How?
They inferring.
Yes, they are inferring. Like, this is. I do think this is. We have to take this with a grain of salt. This is not like 100%, but there's some sort of methodology to this.
Yeah,
this
to end
is-
up on the same
yeah.
planet with Putin? Really?
Or Adolf.
years. But even the massive Virgo supercluster is nothing but a quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520 million light years, but from even there we can zoom out all the way to the entire observable universe and see that even the titanic Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny and insignificant part of everything. This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know
Wow.
of. It is home to at least 2 trillion different and individual galaxies, which together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth. The distance from Earth to any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years, which means that the entire width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in
This is
mind that
trippy.
the
This is
observable
too much.
universe is all that we can currently see, and it's entirely possible.
Well,
That's too
duh,
much.
that's the word observable.
That's too much.
It is very trippy. It is very. It is.
Like, what I'm supposed to do with this information? I'm gonna go. Can't go.
This is so fascinating. Wow. When I was a kid, I was worried I was gonna get absorbed into a black hole.
Why?
Now I see that. Oh no, there's other planets. They go and get absorbed
Why they
first.
pick you?
I see that the black hole is not that close. Okay, we good.
Possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is out there because the light from the
This is just so crazy. Puts your whole perspective of time into. Because it could
And your worries too.
it could be anything out there, right? It could be our, like, in the other galaxies, it could be like a mirror of this galaxy in just the past. So we still live there, it's just our past is there, like, how the time is the fourth dimension, right? So could be 5 years ago, 100 years ago, could be the future, could be parallel universe. We just butterfly effects, the same thing, just a different decision. Like any galaxy could be, the life you live right now, but just different decision, because there's so many of them. There could be so many different decisions. This just is so fascinating. Wow.
these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the
I wanted to study. Well, I actually did a project in high school about astrology.
Mhm.
No,
You wanted to
astronomy.
be an
Not,
astrologist?
or astronomy. Which one? One is the. Which one is it? Astronomy.
Astronomy?
Astronomy, yeah, not astrology. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I was thinking of
Oh,
going to college in physics. I
that's
didn't.
hard.
It.
That's
It's hard,
physics
but
is not easy.
yeah, it's not easy. But I was very interested in physics.
Mm.
Yeah, But then I came here and I ended up not going to physics. But
Mhm.
Universe's history to reach us yet back on Earth, and the light from some places may never reach us at all. Because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth. Meaning that even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown
right, could be when we die. Uh, our mirrors is in the other planet. Because what is a soul essentially? We don't know that. We don't understand the concept of a
Mhm.
soul. Because a soul is something you can't deny that there isn't just there is like the physiological movement and whatever that just when we die we die. But there's also like that inner you that
Mhm.
we can't deny it exists. So what happens to it when we die? Does it just vanish? Yeah, maybe it does. Who knows? Or maybe it gets transferred to another planet. It's just so fascinating.
number of places in the universe that we will never know about or ever see. So, it is very likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire
Seems like it,
universe.
yeah.
According to the theory of cosmic
That's
inflation
what
that
it
was
seems
proposed
like.
by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a second after the
Wow.
Big Bang, and
No, honestly, if money was not a factor,
You would go back to
I, I,
school?
w- I would go study physics. I'd go back to school. Yeah,
Aw.
I'd go. This subject is really fascinating me.
Mm.
with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in for just a moment.
And that's exactly what I was kind of alluding with the possibilities of like the butterfly effect, because it could be each of these one could be the same thing, or maybe I'm just too self-absorbed and thinking, oh, we're the only ones, and there's actually other beings. But it's just so fucking fascinating.
This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto, but we inside the light bulb were totally unaware that Pluto existed outside of it, and that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together.
Oh, how cool.
Wow,
Wow.
this
We
was very
should react
fascinating.
more to these.
Yeah, guys,
This
great
is
suggestion.
cool.
This was really
Yeah.
really
Can
fascinating.
I see comments?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it was really cool. This vid this is the video I fall back on when I'm feeling down about something. Helps me remind how irrelevant and insignificant my
I
problems are.
know.
I was watching this video and it pissed me off that I will never know what is out there in my lifetime.
That's the hard part too.
And
You
then
want to know. You want
but
it's like a movie with no ending.
right, but that's what I'm saying. What if when we die, we just get transferred
Yeah,
to
but
another
I don't
universe?
think
Like,
you'll know. You just start all over. Because what's to say? You think you're the first
yeah, you
to
start
walk
all over. You
to
are
per,
start.
you
You do
you
start all over, but eventually, you might not know it, but it will be you who will thousands, millions years from now who
Mhm.
will. There is gonna be some sort of contact done with other beings out there, whether it's on
Like
Earth
when
or
a traveler, I found you. Remember me?
you don't know. Like we don't know. This is so fucking fascinating. Oof.
Oh,
Mm.
I think yours will find you first. Mine.
You get confused.
Mine.
Just
You're
got
like,
lost.
I have something to do. Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Okay, so like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.